Greetings, all Newhammer, Middlehammer, and Oldhammer folks. I am OldGrumpyWolf, and welcome to the Mini Bar Podcast. I'll be serving you up lots of awesome painting nerdiness, talking to other artists from around the web. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out, my normal shout out to thebaselayer.com. If I can, I swear I was prepared for this. Thebaselayer.com is a social media website for miniature painting. There are no weird ads from Temu. There are no pictures of other people's babies. There is just all miniatures all the time. You can like, comment, share, all kinds of stuff. There's finally a notification system now implemented. So go sign up at thebaselayer.com. The guy who runs the website is absolutely top. It's a great guy. All the admins on the site are actually miniature painters from the community, and it's a great place to be. So go sign up on thebaselayer.com. To get the show started, I have he does Oldhammer and Newhammer stuff. He's an Instagram painter I've been following for a while, and I think we competed against one another in OldenDemon last year, but he is an excellent painter, and I'm honored to have him on the show. Let me go there. There we go. Welcome to the show, Ted.
Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, man. So where in the world are you?
I'm in Sweden.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful Sweden. World of Squidmar miniatures and all that.
Oh, they're your neighbors, right?
Well, I mean, neighbors. I live in the southernmost part of Sweden, and they're like quite up north. So,
okay.
Yeah, neighbors-ish.
Actually, I invited them on the show this year, and Emil's like, "Oh, we don't have time." I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess that means you're just not interested." Okay, never mind. It's only an hour.
Busy guys. Busy guys.
Just to dive right into things, what got you into the hobby?
Well, I mean, I think I have like quite a similar story to like many guests in your podcast. I had like quite an on and off with the hobby. I think I came in contact with it like first when I was 7, 8.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 9. I don't know. 10. I don't remember the specific age. I was young. That's the point. And I remember like I visited my neighbor, and he had like some Space Marines. I remember specifically he had some Terminators, and I remembered, oh my goodness.
Those always get you. Those things are so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you know the feeling, right? Seeing those for the first time, and I was like blown away. This is the coolest stuff I've seen.
Well, especially, I mean, that was, if you were 10, I was 19. So that was like 2001.
It must have been like...
It was like 3rd edition.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were metal Terminators, and they were the coolest stuff I've seen for my young age. And I remember like I asked my mom, like, please, can I get some? And yeah, I must have gotten some, because I remember that I eventually had some of my own. And then I remember walking into this store like in our town, and it was like this like general store kind of deal, and they had some Warhammer in stock. It wasn't like the official Games Workshop shelves and all that. It was like just some boxes, and I remember seeing something even cooler than the Terminators. I saw
Dreadnought?
The Dreadnought.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, I was just... If the Terminators blew me away, I don't even know. This was something else. And I remember I got it eventually. I don't know how, but I got it. And I also remember like trying to assemble this thing. And I remember I had like plastic glue trying to assemble it.
Oh, Lord.
And yeah, and that went as well as, yeah, you think it did. So, and I didn't know, because I was a kid, and I was a Swedish kid nonetheless, and like the language barrier was a big deal.
Yeah.
So I just saw this bottle they had, and I think they must have had it like in the shelf. They had it like next to like other model kits, like more of like airplanes and tanks. Those. It
wasn't Tester's glue, was it?
I think it was like, is it Revell? It was these blue and yellow bottles with a metal stick in it.
Vaguely. Was it thick or was it thin?
No, it was kind of thin.
Okay.
I think it was thin. Yeah. Anyways, it didn't work. So that was like the main issue. But I didn't know. Like I saw the bottle and it said it had some words I didn't know. So I bought it and it didn't work.
I remember going to England. I think it was like 15 or 16. It was the summer. It was. I was 15. I think it was the summer between freshman and sophomore year. But it was interesting to see like. Let's just keep it for the topic of conversation. See like Games Workshop boxes and stuff, and like even the blister packs, and they had like every major language around England. So it was French, Spanish, Italian, German, and and plus English. So 6 languages all crammed onto like one box and one instruction book. And oh man, that's I like even on like stuff like chocolates or food. Prepackaged food, they'd cram a couple languages onto the packaging. It's like, holy crap, man, that's a lot to put on there. And with me being a graphic designer for so long, I'm just like, oh man, I would have hated to do that. But I can only imagine, man. I don't remember them putting Swedish on anything. So
no, I doubt that.
Yeah,
I doubt that. I mean, it's teeny tiny country with. So yeah. I don't think so.
I think it was Magnus Matig that I had on. He said the same thing. Like they didn't print. I think he was Dutch, and he said they didn't print anything in Dutch, and he just knew barely enough German to get by on reading the packaging.
Oh, you had Magnus on?
Yeah.
Oh, he's from Denmark.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Danish.
Danish, yeah. But I mean, point is, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And the same thing went for like when we tried to play the games.
Oh no!
I remember like he must have had. I think he had like a box set, so I think he had some rules. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we didn't know the words. I mean, we know some words because I mean we know where they teach English in school and whatever. But I mean, not enough to get through like a whole rule book when you're like 10.
Well, dude, even in English, it's still a nightmare to get through.
Yeah.
It's almost like reading stereo instructions for assembly.
Yeah. I still can't do it. I mean, the games I played, I came back to 10th edition and I had planned on playing a few games. I think I played maybe 4 games, 2 games. Yeah, not many games. So yeah, the rules is it's too much for me at least.
Yeah, I was talking to Ed. Ed Paints Minis. He has a YouTube channel, Minisodes, and he does like a lot of Oldhammer stuff. And we were talking a bit. I don't remember if it was on camera or off camera, but I don't play. And I was asking him, what's the biggest difference between some of the editions, like let's say 2nd, 3rd, and 10th, and he was telling me like how different 10th is from 2nd edition, and It does sound like there is quite a bit of a learning curve to playing, especially when going between editions.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much stuff that you need to have, like, that you need to remember, like, throughout the game. There's like, oh yeah, you should totally have used this thing. And I'm like, I'm just remembering to move my guys and like where I'm going to position them on the board. Now you're telling me I need to have these things in mind as well. So yeah, it's so convoluted, and I'm not a fan really, but I mean, I want to paint like my armies, and I want to. The main way you show up, like you show off your army, is like at the table. So yeah, I want to play more games. I want to learn, but at the same time, it's not my focus.
Yeah. At all. No, it's understandable. I mean, like with your level of painting, you get into painting, and there ain't a lot of time to actually play.
No.
I mean, if painting is your general focus, then you'd much rather spend that 4 to 5 hours that'll take you to play a game behind your desk painting up a Space Marine versus getting frustrated because you forgot to move your you forgot the shooting face or something. Yeah,
definitely. Bit of a tangent. What was the question again?
Oh, just what got you into the hobby. I think we left off on you bought some plastic glue for a dreadnought. The instructions weren't in English or in Swedish.
So basically, I came in contact with it when I was like a little kid. then I like I lost interest. I'm not sure what happened, because I mean, I don't remember like not loving it anymore. I must have just like it just phased out, I guess. I mean, when you're a kid, you do like so many different activities and stuff.
Did you even get to like the painting phase as a kid, or did you just get to the assembly phase and you're like, I hate this?
No, I did paint. I think I had like maybe 4 paints that I used, and like I think I had some blue paint, I had some red paint, some kind of skin color, I guess, and maybe white, maybe black as well.
Okay, it's like
I think
so 5. One of the primaries.
Yeah, but I mean, and you know, it's like the pot and onto the model, straight to the metal. Yeah, hope that it sticks, and yeah, that was my painting back then. But I remember because I visited my parents like a few years ago, and I actually found like some the old bike models, the metal guys on the plastic bikes, and yeah, it wasn't a pretty sight, but I mean, it was nice to see them again. So I did actually paint something, but I mean, I wouldn't say that was like a focus of mine.
Oh, speaking of old models, I feel very accomplished, even though I haven't finished yet. I decided I got to bug up my butt last Friday because I was digging around in one of my old model boxes and I was looking for something, and I spent about 2 or 3 hours like reorganizing all of my old 40K stuff, like all the stuff I hadn't painted, stuff that was actually in my 40K storage box, because I was tired of like saying to people, "Oh yeah, I have that model," and then I go looking for it, and it's like an hour later, I'm like, I have it, I just don't know where I put it. And so yeah, I mean, like everything is like all nice and organized now. And looking at old models, it's like, God, what was I thinking? Ugh.
So now you can actually say that. Yeah. Actually. So yeah, I painted and I modeled and stuff when I was a kid. Then I came back to it. I think I must have been like 20 plus something when I came back next time. But then it was like a really quick thing. I like saw some Warhammer in a, like, I think it was some kind of hobby store. I picked a box of minis up, some paints, and then I lost interest like really quickly. I think I sold the things in like, must have been like a month after I bought them. And then I came back when 10th edition was released, like 2022. Can that be correct?
Yeah, was that long ago?
Or 21? No, that can't be right. Something like that.
Okay.
21 or 22. That's when I came back for real this time.
That's I don't see the transition of like the additions of games. I just remember like the transition of when Primaris Marines came out, and I just randomly popped on Games Workshop's website to see what was going on, and I saw these Primaris Marines. I'm like, what the hell are those things? Those aren't Space Marines.
Yeah.
What are those?
So yeah, and ever since then I've been painting, trying to play some games, but failing miserably.
Well, I can probably skip the next question. It sounds like you kind of you got it in the game because of the miniatures and painting versus gaming. You just kind of dipped your toe in the water a little bit and found out, no, not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, basically, but I mean, I still say that I like the aspect.
Yeah,
I like it as a concept. I like gaming as a concept, but like when it comes down to like practice, I don't know.
It's one of those things you want to appreciate from a distance.
Yeah, and I mean, I've also had like when I came back to because it's way easier when you have like a friend group that you have like this community. But if you don't have that and you want to play, I feel like, at least for me, it's really difficult to get into it. Like just showing up to like a Games Workshop store or whatever, any kind of hobby store, and just saying like, "Hey guys, I'm here to play some games." That's not just from. It's not for me.
No, it's understandable. It's always kind of a strange thing when you're just getting into something and you don't know anybody and you walk in, you're like, "Hi, I'm new here."
Yeah, yeah, it's really, really strange.
Although I will say the owner, the guy who runs the local Warhammer store, like he's really into like Warhammer stuff and teaching people. So you walk in and Jaffa, I mean, he's instantly like, "Welcome to Warhammer. Hey, how can I help you? Oh yeah, you want to play? You want to try this out?" And like, dude knows, like, he's got everything memorized. So I mean, he could tell you about every single game going back like 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate those guys. I'm not saying like that's weird or anything. I'm just saying like,
yeah, you personally, it's just it's a little odd going, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's just too much. I'd rather like be stuck in my basement and painting guys.
I totally understand, dude. Like I said, I think it was before we started recording. I'd rather spend 4 hours behind, or maybe it was when we were recording, spending 4 hours behind my desk here at home, painting something up versus spending 4 hours getting frustrated and getting my butt kicked completely on the tabletop for what? I mean, like, wow, I just lost the game. I could have spent 4 hours at home actually winning by painting.
Yeah.
So I'm judging by, the paints in the background and your level of painting. I'm curious what paints you use.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've used like a bunch different like brands or like paints in general. I think when I started out, or like the most recent time I came back, I began by using the Vallejo colors. And then I swiftly changed them out to AK, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So I use AK like 99% of the time when I'm painting. I do use some Citadel stuff now and again, like some contrast paints for like metallics mostly, and like the shade paints, and even some like basic like Rhinox hide or whatever, but mostly AK, I'd say.
What was the what was the push to go away from Vallejo to AK? What'd you find the big difference was?
I know exactly which kind of paint it was, like the bottle paint. It was a Vallejo, I think it was orange brown. It was the most frustrating experience I've had painting. Because
why was that?
Like the consistency of the paint, it was so off, and it felt like I was painting with like oil, and not like oil paints, but like literal like oil, because it wouldn't stick to the model. And everything, nothing worked.
It was one of those colors.
I tried thinning it. I tried like just using it straight from the pot. Nothing worked. It was so frustrating, and I pulled my hair out using this paint. And then I like saw someone mentioning AK, and I tried it out, and I haven't looked back since. Because I'd say that's the strongest, like the thing they have going for AK is how consistent every single paint is.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. It was like that was the biggest thing I noticed as I got further into using AK paints, was just the sheer consistency along the entire range of paints. Like you leave the paint sitting in water. There's a few I found that separate, but I want to say like 95% of them don't separate. It's usually just like blues that do it, especially like purplish blues. But I found like everything across their range was just so consistent.
Yeah, I really like them. They're so good.
It looks like what are those? What are the bottles behind your head on the top shelf?
Those are what are they called? Liquitex. They're inks.
Oh, okay. Oh, so yeah. Got it.
They're like the dropper pet kind of thing. Yeah, so I do use inks from time to time as well. I mean, it's the same thing mostly as like with contrast paints. I use them for like tinting, when I'm painting like metal, when I'm doing stuff like that, shading metal, stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't worked with inks since I got back into this, because all my old inks dried up from Citadel, and when I was at Las Vegas Open in October, there's a guy who works the Games Workshop booth, and I met him in January, at the first LVO that I went to, and he brought me like 3 or 4 bottles of old Citadel ink that were unused. I think it was like yellow, red, chestnut, and flesh wash. I'm like, ooh, I have to try those on something. I haven't used those in years. But I do miss for the young hammer or the new hammer guys watching. Inks actually work quite differently than contrast paints do. It's similar, but inks they don't have that new style acrylic medium in them that the modern Citadel washes do. So they'll actually stain really easily, but you'll get much darker shading in the recesses than you will with contrast paints.
I'd say they're more like, or not as thick. I don't know if that's like the technical term or whatever. I'm not a
Thick
chemist.
with 3 C's and R and a hashtag.
Yeah, but I mean, I prefer using both. I mean, they have their different kind of uses, but I do tend to like use both.
Yeah, the reason I asked is the bottles look kind of like Pro Acryl bottles.
Oh yeah, no, I've actually never used Procure, so
you might want to give if you can get them in Sweden, you might want to give them a shot. They're similar to AK, but they act more like kind of like 2000 Citadel paints.
Just might.
They're like I swear by their like the triad of reds from my Blood Angels. I use their Pyro Red or Orange Red and Orange, and they are just so easy to work with. They
check them out.
They layer blend, layer glaze very, very easily, and they're nice and thin. They're like AK. They're really thin. They're easy. They water down really easy. And the only forewarning I'll give you is for some odd reason, Pyro Red just takes forever to dry. But I mean, once you get used to it, you're fine. Can you actually get a Pro Acryl up there? Because I think they extended distribution into Europe.
I mean, I think I've seen it like on like the hobby, like the online store I buy most of my stuff from. I think I've seen them there. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, give them a shot.
I think so. I think
Dude,
I think you can get like most.
Their ultramarine blue dries so matte that it just starts sucking in the light from the room.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a great color. I just found it difficult for the way that I work. I found it difficult to work with because of how matte it dried.
Oh. Did you end up like changing that one from your recipe, or was it something else? Or
I bought it because I was specifically in November, December 24. Because I was going to paint. I did paint Lieutenant Titus for my gal's daughter's boyfriend's Christmas present, and I was still kind of bouncing around between paint brands and stuff like that, and I wasn't painting any kind of ultramarine stuff. I was just like, I'm just going to use that tried and true old ultramarine blue from way back in the day, and so I bought the Pro Acryl one, and worked up his Titus for him, and it's just been kind of sitting in my collection ever since. I think I might have given it to my painting bestie because I ended up buying AK ultramarine blue, and then I didn't use it for my ultramarines recipe because I'm pretty sure I think back in the day, I don't think Games Workshop actually used ultramarine blue. They said they used it in their painting guides, but I think Tim said he used a different blue when he was doing the army. The box art for the army boxes. Back in the day. Curious enough, do you varnish your models once you're done?
It kind of depends. Okay. Like if I have like some kind of like finish I'm after, I would. But if I'm painting like with a bunch of like TMM and stuff, and I don't want to lose the shine because I'm lazy. So most of the time I use my airbrush, and then I will just matte down the finish of the metallics, and then it's ruined, or it's gonna lose its shine. And then I'll have to go back and highlight everything up. And I just said I'm lazy, so I'm not gonna do that. So it kind of depends.
Okay.
it depends on what result I'm after and how much of the model I've actually finished and the kind of paints I've used.
Yeah,
but I do like the Ultra Matte from AK. That's my go-to.
That's that's not a rattle can, is it?
No, it's like this little bottle for airbrush.
Oh, okay.
You could use a brush, but I think it's designed or whatever for an airbrush.
I haven't tried doing the airbrush varnish thing yet. I don't.
I think it works great.
I don't own an airbrush, so I don't know.
Oh well, then there's that.
I just use I just use the old person rattle can Citadel varnish.
I've just heard so many like nightmare stories or whatever about the frosting issues and stuff like that. So
actually, funny you bring that up. The Citadel Minotaur varnish doesn't frost.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it's so I know exactly what you're referring to. The old Citadel varnish they brought out matte, and that would frost. And unfortunately, that matte stuff that clear coat was not archival quality. As I've said on previous shows, like pretty much all of my old Citadel stuff from the 2000s is wrecked. It's turning yellow. But I remember, I think the first model that I found the fogging thing on was I painted up the early 2000s Zone Thrower, and where it collected in the crevices, it would frost up in there. And as soon as I remember a couple of years ago when I tried the Minotaur varnish, I remember how different it smelled. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And instead of frosting, the Minotaur varnish will actually go gloss if it collects in crevices. So I think it's a true satin varnish, but like as I've said before, there's an easy way to make it look matte. You just hold it out at the very end of the stream, and let it dust onto the miniature, and whatever doesn't stick, you just brush it off with a soft brush, and it gives it a nice matte finish.
Yeah. So it depends on what I'm doing. Depends on the paint. Depends on how lazy I am. And that's kind of the reoccurring like theme when it comes to my painting. How lazy am I today? Or what do I have to get done?
I don't know, man. You're a pretty damn good painter. I would work on that lazy thing because it would step you up, I think.
Yeah, but I do feel like that's kind of like a big like thing I have to when it comes to improving, because I'm always striving to improve like with stuff, and I feel like and like this is gonna sound like really, really dumb, but I feel like I haven't really painted anything to like a competition standard, if that makes sense. I feel like I haven't gone like above and beyond of my abilities, because I feel like I always hit that spot when I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm just rushing through it. I want to be done with this. Like I'm working on this captain. Maybe we're going to talk about it later. I don't know. The Space Marine captain, old one, the metal one. And I've been working for it like in between projects, and I feel like, oh God, I still have like the back to paint. And I feel like, oh my God, when am I going to do that? Do I ever have to do that? Do we really need to do that? Yeah. So that's always like something like that holding me back, because I'd rather be done with it. So yeah, it sounds silly and stupid, but that's a really big issue of mine when it comes to painting.
Getting back into painting in 24, I made it a massive point to undo a lot of my bad habits, and talking about like laziness on things. Now I no longer allow myself to do that. Like we're talking about the tutorial video. It's a little different when I'm starting to get burnt out. Like I'll slow down considerably, but I've forced myself to like, no, you're gonna do. You hate painting backpacks, but you're gonna do the backpack to the same standard you did the rest of the model. Or I really don't want to paint this particular arm because I don't like the bolter or something like that. Nope, you're going to do it exactly the way you did the rest of the model. You've been doing this for 30 years. Knock it off. You're not allowed to get lazy anymore. So fixing that bad habit, a lot of my old bad habits really did help. one thing I have found, if you're like, funny enough what you said, when I was young, you know, like a teenager, you know, I'd focus on like 1 or 2 points of the model and do like the best of my ability, and then just get lazy on the rest of it and just And I can see it in my own work, sitting in my cases on my wall, and just I look at certain models and I'm like, ugh. But I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I give up. I'm sorry. So like I said, I was up until like 4 a.m. working on stuff, trying to get this trying to get that filming done for the tutorial video so I can just sit down and start editing. So my brain's like,
that's totally fine. No pressure.
And well, what you were just referring to, do you paint in sub-assembly?
Well, I mean, this might shock you, come as a surprise to you, but when I'm lazy when it comes to painting. So most of the times I don't, because I just want, and if there's one thing I hate like more than anything in this hobby, it's like building and prepping the models.
It's kind of gotten to be a lot now.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I mean, like the old metal minis were like fine because they came like most of the time it was like one piece, maybe 2, 3 at most. But I mean, at least then if you had like a mold slip or whatever, it was like a pain to fix. I mean, as of now, when you can just scrape it off with a knife or whatever. But I mean, just the amount of parts, like this single marine is like 15 gazillion parts, and I'm like losing my mind here.
Yeah, no,
I just want to get to painting.
You.
I just want to get painting. So I mean, if anything, like people talk about like, oh, please, can't we just have like the I hate that the models are monopose now or whatever. I feel like the opposite. I like, please, can you just sell the miniatures pre-assembled?
Yeah,
that would be great. I don't care for like the modular thing or whatever. Let me get them.
Oh, you brought up a good point. Like, you know, with the older models, like with me painting the Ultramarines, I am, you know, it's the torso, the legs, head, all one piece. And then you have the arms, which are plastic. You have the shoulder pads in plastic, and then you have the bolter in plastic. And they're outside of fixing misalignment with, you know, mold lines. They're fairly easy and straightforward to put together. You know, I can prep a whole squad of 5 in an evening. Yeah, like full ready to paint, all in primer. Whereas like, you know, what you just said, so many pieces to modern minis, dude. You spend 2-3 hours just building one model, and if you're painting in sub-assembly, it's like, okay, how can I build this to where I can put it together after I'm done painting it? And I watch some of the guys at Paint Night put their models together, and they're there for like 4 hours, and they get like a couple of models done. But I mean, they're just sitting there clipping out like a billion pieces, and it's like a pile. It's like, oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy. Like I'm trying to get like put a dent in my pile of shame or whatever, and I've spent some like evenings building squads, and it's like after one evening, like, oh yeah, that's 5 guys.
Yeah,
that took 3 hours. Like, what the hell? So yeah, I'm not a big fan.
No, I know how you feel. It's just like, I just want to start painting.
So
it's like, this is
really
not cool.
Frustrating. No,
I mean, judging by like some of the models I was looking on your page, you know, I mean, if you're just flat out building like some of your Terminators, I think the white one you just posted, dude, if you painted that all put together, that's really damn good.
Yeah, I mean the white one, it was, I don't think I had the head separate, like the helmet. I had that so I can paint it. Like but that's easy enough, like to just pop it on. But having like arms and legs and I usually just put as most of the mini together as I can. Like if it's something like really difficult to paint, like if it's something like obscuring any detail or whatever, I'll maybe have it sub-assembled, but most of the time not. I mean, especially with this guy that you're talking about, it has such like an open pose or whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of easy to get in with your brush everywhere.
I was just thinking of that, like a lot of those open pose models. Yeah, you can kind of get away with assembling them and painting them.
Yeah.
You brought up Oldhammer, the single piece metal models, single piece, maybe an arm you got to attach. They were usually fairly open pose as far as the stance goes, so it was easy to paint them out right. Like, well, I'm that Carnifex down at the bottom of the screen, the Carnifex and the Saturnine, those were single piece models. I will say though, in the Saturnine there are some very cramped areas.
It looks a bit busy.
No, it's mainly like the where his power fist is, like the inside of the power fist toward the torso, and then the same thing with the bolter, like just getting up toward underneath the shoulder pad is a little bit cramped, but it's a fairly open. They're both fairly open models, and I think back in the day, obviously I think the sculptors had to keep that in mind. It's like and molding constraints, but they had to keep it in mind of like ease of painting or ease of accessibility.
Definitely.
Oh, new question I came up with. You're the first one I get to ask this. What brushes do you use?
The ones that have a decent tip.
Fair enough.
Like the ones that can hold paint, and the ones that aren't split.
Do you have like a go-to, like,
I mean,
kind of workhorse brush?
Not really. I mean, I've tried like a few different brands or whatever, but I mean, I don't feel like I found the one yet, if that makes sense. But I mean, it kind of depends what I'm doing. I mean, if I'm doing some freehanding or whatever, I need like a super sharp tip and like decent belly that holds decent amount of paint. But yeah, I still haven't found it. I'm still looking. Do you have any suggestions?
Have you tried Vallejo's brushes?
I have not.
I picked up on a whim. I was out with my painting bestie and my gal one night, and we went over to a hobby shop here in town, and they carried some of Vallejo's brushes, and I bought size 3 and size 4. None of the sizes are consistent between brands, by the way. So I bought a size 3 and 4. I thought maybe I could use them, and size 3 was actually just too big. And so I went on Amazon and bought a size 2 and a size 1. And maybe it was a size 1 and 0. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I started, the size 1 was like, oh, this looks perfect. I'm gonna give this a shot. I've been beating the hell out of that brush. I love that brush. That is my new workhorse. It's got a super fine tip on it. It's a longer brush, and it's got a rather large belly / bulb. It holds a ton of paint. It holds a ton of moisture. And if for the smaller brushes that you use, you run out of paint fairly quick. But
yeah,
with that Vallejo, it's Pro Modeler size 1, I believe. And oh, dude, I need to buy like 10 of those things. I'm like, yep, you're my workhorse brush now. If you can get those, if you can get the brushes, try to find a Pro Modeler size 1. The tip on it, yeah, I mean, it looks like a brush that you'd use a base coat with, but once you actually get the tip, tippy tipped, you can do like text on scrolls with it.
I have to check it out.
I think it was like $12 or $13 over here in the US. It might actually be cheaper over in Europe because you guys don't have the tariff situation.
Oh yeah, right. I have to check it out because I mean I've used so many different kinds, and like when I came back to the hobby again, like the most like a common lie people tell you is like for the detail stuff you need like a teeny tiny brush, but yeah, that sucks. Like what am I gonna do with this? Like once I put the paint on the brush and brought it to the model, the paint is already dry. Yeah, so that's horrible. So I'm still looking.
There was one. It was some Instagram guy, one of the higher up painters that I followed. Maybe it was Mamicon. He was talking about getting into using a longer brush with a bigger bulb with a fine tip on it. And he's like, this will actually change your painting game once you get used to it. Now I understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it makes total sense, doesn't it?
It was actually nice to hear you say you get a teeny tiny brush, and as soon as you bring it to the model, it's dry. I've given up on teeny tiny brushes like that. It's just so frustrating. 'Cause, I mean, you've got to load them completely, and by that point in time, if you're just slightly over on the paint, the tip goes.
Yeah, horrible experience.
Yeah, you actually try to wick with it, and you wick all the paint out. And by the time you get it to the miniature, you're like, yeah. Hey, work. It's like no. Who is through all of your experience? Who's influenced your painting style?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't really know, because I mean that's also like a thing I feel like I'm struggling with. I mean, I feel like I get inspired by basically anyone in the hobby. Mm-hmm. I mean, being like on Instagram, talking to guys, like talking to you, mm-hmm. and like getting tips and tricks and sharing like work in progress stuff. So I'm inspired by everyone, but I feel like I'm struggling to find my own style, mm-hmm. if that makes sense, because I feel like that's something I've struggled with for most of my life, really, because mm-hmm. when I was a kid, I used to draw a whole bunch.
Oh, cool.
And I always felt like I don't have like a distinct style. I always had like a good friend of mine. We had like, it wasn't a competition or anything. It was mm-hmm. like maybe like some kind of rivalry between the two of us, who could draw better and uh-huh. who could do the coolest stuff or whatever. And our classmates like cheered us on and whatever. And I always felt like he was the superior one, because mm-hmm. he had like this super distinct style. It was like stylized, like cartoony. And I always felt like, yeah, man, my stuff, it doesn't look like anything. What am I doing? And I feel like that's carried over mm-hmm. to my painting now, that I feel like, what am I doing? This doesn't look like anything. I know looks like something, but I mean, I'm trying to find my style, mm-hmm. basically.
Well, it's not necessarily a bad thing that you kind of bounce around and try all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice, like trying to paint different stuff, and that's something I think that I try to do more and more. Mm-hmm. Like recently, I've tried to be more like in line with heavy metal stuff, mm-hmm. like trying to go that route. But at the same time, I feel like, yeah, but I do love like the more detailed stuff. I do like the more like weathering. I do mm-hmm. like battle damage and whatnot. So it's a mix.
Well, from what I've seen of your models, I mean, you've got that whole weathering style down really well. Like I can't. My brain just won't let me do that kind of thing. It's just like, no, to me, it just looks, not putting anyone down, just my own painting. I'm like, God, it looks ugly. I can't do that. He needs to look like he just came out of the car wash. The marine wash.
Factory fresh.
No, yeah. You hit the nail on the head again, going back to that white Terminator that you've been working on. That thing is gorgeous.
Thank you. And like, I'm proud of that, but at the same time, I feel like, my God, I could have done something else. Always.
Well, I mean, how so that you could have done something else?
Yeah, but I don't like. Maybe I could have used like. Maybe I should have used like push the contrast more. Maybe I should have done this or that or whatever. But I mean, I'll always look at my stuff with that kind of like critical.
Oh, dude, we all do.
Point of view. So, but I mean, at the same time, I still feel like I can look at my stuff and say, yeah, I painted those. I did. That's good. But then I have this issue of like, especially when I'm like posting stuff to Instagram or mm-hmm. whatever, I have this tendency to like take these super close-ups, and that's not good at all. I mean, if you're going to be critical of your own work, mm-hmm. if you take this super close-up shot, yeah, that's not.
Well, it does help zooming in on your pictures and having close-ups of them. Like, don't think you're alone in the being self-conscious about your close-up of your models. Like I've gotten into when you see my formatting, like I'll do the whole around of the model, and it's usually that's how I post. But lately I've started taking like more artsy and close-up shots of my minis just for funsies to send to people online. And I found starting out, it's actually really good to get up close to your minis on the computer, because I mean, you're seeing it at a level that you're never going to see in person, but it gives you a good idea about your brush control and how thick you're making your lines and the consistency of your shading and all that stuff. So, you know, it's stuff to keep in mind. And it actually, to me at least, it helped me improve and think more about what I was doing. And I have noticed, you know, a change of consistency of paying attention to that kind of detail. But you're not alone. I think all of us suffer from that. Like, oh my God, how did I mess that up? Or like, oh Jesus, it's so close.
Yeah, and I mean it's horrible because I mean, as you said, it was never meant to be like viewed in that kind of close up. Ever. So it doesn't make sense at all. But I do agree with you. Like it helped me as well when like, especially when you're painting like faces or whatever, and you're like, when you're looking at it at your painting desk and like, yeah, damn, that looks good. And then they take a picture and like, hang on, that's not an eye, that's his eyelid or whatever. So yeah, that definitely helps.
Talking about the you know, self-conscious thing, like I've actually some of the guys I brought on that are, you know, OldenDemon winners, you know, they're self-conscious about their stuff. And I think it's just, you know, all artists in general, we are our own worst critics, because musician, artist, visual artist, doesn't matter. We hear and see all the things we don't like, and then we push it out into the world, and we're like, God, we hope nobody notices. And, you know, like 1 out of like 10,000 people will be like, oh, you screwed that up. And it's just like, okay, you know what? 9,999 other people like this, so I'm going to go with them. Thanks. Yeah, I think the important thing to keep in mind, though, is what you were saying is I wish I'd pushed the contrast further. I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Carry that over to the next thing you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, it's actually nice to hear that not only myself, but, you know, like guys like you, just, again, your self-conscious thing, my own thing, is that you get done with a model and you walk away with, you know, 1 or 2 things learned. You may not have executed it correctly, or you may not have thought of it while you were doing that particular mini, but you walked away and you learned something.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it also depends on like what your goal with the hobby is. I mean, it's not going to be a goal, but I mean, why are you doing it to begin with? So, I mean, I'm definitely doing it nowadays, at least for painting purposes. So that's how I need to think and feel and act when it comes to the painting aspect. I need to improve, because if I don't improve, then I don't really feel like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah. Oh no. Well, you seem like you have that artistic side to you where, you know, that's important to you. And, you know, there's some people who just, and, you know, their goal is to just get the paint on and get it on the table. But, you know, they want to improve in the game aspect. You know, they might want to improve a little bit with painting, but, you know, their dedication is to the game and not the painting side. Whereas, you know, we're completely reversed. Our dedication is to the painting side. So, you know, that obsession with getting better it's a healthy thing, especially, you know, if you're an artist, it's a very healthy thing.
And just to be clear, I'm not throwing like any shade at those guys who are playing the game. Huge respect to those guys remembering every single rule. That's impressive.
Oh,
I could never do it. So props. Good job all around.
Well, the first LVO that I went to, the Saturday I brought my painting bestie with, and we were hanging out in the smoking area out front a lot because they wouldn't, you know, can't vape inside. So, you know, we're just hanging out with our whiskeys, and, you know, I'm having a vape, he's having a vape, and we're just talking to a bunch of the gamers that were coming out, because the convention is mainly for gaming, and listening to a lot of people. You know, they just don't enjoy the painting side of it. They're like, oh, you know, I have to paint my army just to get on the table here, and this sucks. I hate painting. I just want to start playing, man. I'm just like, that's kind of sad. That's one of the best parts. One of the best aspects of this whole hobby is, you know, the self-expression and what you can do with painting your models.
Yeah. We're all different.
Yeah. I think you're of the same the same ilk as I am, of that. Like, if I were to game, I wouldn't be able to game unless my entire army is like painted and like pristine looking on the table.
Yeah. I had that. Like when I came back to the hobby, I had a colleague at work who played some Warhammer, and he made me pick up an army and wanted us to game and whatever. So I picked orcs. And
wow.
Yeah, so that's
a bit of a painting journey.
Mistake. Yeah, that was a big mistake. So, and it was so funny because I kept like telling him like each week, like, dude, I painted up another HQ for my orcs. That's like 10 or points or whatever. So yeah, I still have like 200 orc boys to paint.
Yeah, 200 orc boys is like 100 points in the game. You're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Can you stop reducing the point value?
It's ridiculous. So yeah, I sold them off.
I don't blame you. My gal, she loves orcs and gobos and squigs and all that, but she doesn't play. She just likes the painting aspect and the art aspect of it. So a good buddy of mine out in Colorado, I've known him since my band days, and he's really into orcs. So he's painting up an army, and he's been working on his army for the last 2 years, and he's finally up to about 2,500 points, and it's like 400 models. I'm like, dude. He's like, oh yeah, they're just cannon fodder. I was like, oh my god, dude. Good luck, RJ. But he's really into it though. Like he's custom built like all kinds of scenery for his orcs to display his army on. He's gotten into the whole like flyers and everything. He's just, I mean, full tilt boogie with them.
Yeah, it's really fun.
And dude, speaking of such things, looking at the vehicles. And not just for orcs, but like chaos engines and stuff. Like what they brought out for 40K now is absolutely nuts. There was when I was at the Warhammer store, it was over the winter. Guy I know here, one of the guys that goes in there, Justin. He was working on. He fully assembled it. God bless his soul. He fully assembled it, but it was like some chaos engine. And I mean, like the thing was like this big. It was huge. I don't even know what the model is, but I'm just looking at it like from a painter's mindset of like, dude, that's like a month and a half of painting right there. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. Like it's kind of ridiculous with the like whole, the sizes of the models.
Yeah.
Like when you compare it to like second edition to now, yeah, it's a bit stupid, but it's kind of awesome at the same time.
We were talking about earlier, dude. Like I wouldn't even want to see how many parts you had to put together on that thing.
Yeah, I actually, like when I came back to the hobby again, and when I settled on painting a Space Marine army, I bought one of the new dreads. And oh my god, there's like separate pieces for like the fingers, and there's separate pieces for like his toes. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
What happened to the simple metal one from the 90s? It was like 5 parts.
Yeah, so that thing's kind of stupid. Like, just send it in one piece. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, do we really need all that detail inside the arms? Because you're never going to see it once it's put together.
Yeah, ridiculous.
No, I've been debating on buying because I like epic scale a lot. I was debating on buying a new Titan and making it an actual Deathbringer Titan with like the one I painted 2 years ago with the 2 autocannons, 2 missile launchers, and I was pricing it out, and like I think it's like $120 just for the model, and this is for an epic scale Titan. And then the weapons I wanted were $15 a piece, so that's another $30, $69, $120. Plus the head that I wanted you had to buy separately. That was another $10. I'm like, I've just gotten myself into a $220 model. And then I saw one when I was at that gaming store when I bought the Vallejo brush. I actually pulled the box down and looked at it in person, and it has the 100% size on the back. I'm like, I don't wanna.
Yeah, and if you would buy it and paint it, and let's like hypothetically you would play a game or whatever, and you have like one model. So
did you by chance, did you ever see the episode, I don't know if you watched him or not, Midwinter Minis, when he built a full-size 40K Warlord Titan?
Oh yeah.
And he actually used it in the game. It was just like the biggest hunk of garbage.
Yeah.
He's like, this thing was destroyed in the first turn. It's a $4,000 model, and it was destroyed in the first turn.
You can never win.
Yeah. I guess Games Workshop's rules for the Titan-sized vehicles in 40K, I guess, are just bad. We went over this, but I'll flat out ask you, how do old Games Workshop miniatures compare to new ones?
Well, I mean, to say something new, I would say that I do like the quality of the newer ones. I mean, they are like the detail, it's super good, it's super crisp. Like when you're edge highlighting the newer models, it's a breeze because the detail is so sharp.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't really say that for most of the like second edition Rogue Trader stuff. Like most of the time you have to paint your own edges when it comes down to it. So I mean, there's that, but I do feel like the new ones, I like them, they're cool, and I enjoy painting them, but I do feel like the older stuff they have, like, I mean, soul sounds silly, but
no, I know what you're saying.
It's like the charm of it.
Yeah,
it feels like it's made with love and rainbows and sparkles and all that. But I mean, you can see it, and you can, like, I don't know, it might just be like rose tinted glasses or whatever, like the nostalgia talking. I don't know if it was the first time you saw them like next to each other, and you had no idea of what Warhammer even was, would you go for the one that was made with love, or would you go with the multi-billion-dollar company one?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go political here, but yeah,
it's an interesting thing that you compared the two like that. I guess in my own mind, you know, knowing like those old metal miniatures were sculpted by hand.
Yeah.
And the thing about metal miniatures, they were sculpted by hand at that size. Versus now, you know, people are still sculpting them, you know, but it's all done on the computer. And it does feel like there's a bit of the warmth and the soul is kind of gone. And I agree with you. Like the modern minis, you know, they're very highly detailed versus what they used to be. And in some ways it's good, some ways it's bad. I hate the size of the rivets that they put on Space Marines armors now. It's just way too small. But that aside, there are some really fantastic models they have brought out and that they design up. However, it does feel very much like the soul of them is gone a little bit, where this hunk of metal, you know, that was just when they cast that thing, it was just a chunk of green stuff that somebody sat there with a little tool and, you know, did this with. And some of the charm, definitely. At least I will say, at least Games Workshop's getting back in touch with its humorous side again, especially, you know, every Christmas we get the red gobo.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important that they do keep that. I mean, if they lose that completely, then I think it's going to be really bad for them.
Yeah.
If you do end up losing that.
I think the word you're looking for is like, a lot of the modern stuff feels very sterile.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But I mean, sterile can be good. But I mean, yeah, it's difficult to compare the two.
I will say,
go ahead. Or, let's put it like this. Do I enjoy painting the newer stuff more than the old ones? Yes. I mean, it's easier to paint them, definitely. I mean, when it comes down to like the details and whatever, and some of the like the captain I'm painting up right now, the backside of him, like the helmet, it looked like it has melted. And I mean, like, yeah, it probably did. And like, how am I gonna salvage this? Like, I'm not a sculptor. I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna keep it, not that no one notices. And the newer models, you don't get that.
Yeah. You're talking about the melting thing. I'm actually, I'm because I'm getting frustrated. I'm painting other stuff as I'm trying to finish my tutorial video. I've got a Rogue Trader Terminator that in the old Games Workshop how to paint 40K miniatures, the very first one that came out in second edition. They didn't have the generic Terminators, the resculpts ready by that point, so Tim Prow had to paint up a Rogue Trader Terminator as an Ultramarine. It was like the only Terminator that they painted for the Ultramarines until the new ones came out. And I'm mimicking that paint job as something just, you know, to do for my Ultramarines phase. And he's got like a bionic eye, or like a sight eye on his mask, and the side of it, like, it was miscast, so I just scraped a bunch of the metal off, and it's just kind of blobby there now. I'm just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna make some stuff up.
Yeah. You could always say that it's battle damage. Like, yeah. he's supposed to look like that.
It's battle damage. That's kind of a that's a good thing to say. I'll have to keep that in mind. We touched on it a little bit earlier in the show, but 90s heavy metal grim bright box art versus modern day heavy metal box art painting.
A mix.
Okay.
I think. I feel like that's kind of where I'm going with it. Mm-hmm. Like I do love the super punchy, vibrant colors they used back in the day, and I kind of want to see more of that, like in the modern.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of stuff now is very realistic and subdued.
Yeah. But I feel like they have had like some like nods back to the old painting styles. I just want to see more of that. It would be cool. And as far as my own painting goes, I think that, or I hope that, I try to combine the two to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, a lot of your stuff, it's very bold and very vivid.
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy like that punchy, like smack in the face, vibrant, popping colors. So a good mix, a healthy mix of both.
Relating back to what you were saying earlier, that you haven't found your niche, that might be your niche right there, is like, you know, mixing grim bright with modern heavy metal.
You might have just solved my crises here. This might end up being my therapy session right here. That's very good.
Well, it always kind of helps to, you know, bounce ideas off other people, just to, you know, get them out of your head and hear input. But no, that actually might be a good direction for you to go in, because it seems like that's where you're going. And you've, you know, like the Ultramarine captain, the old one that you painted up. I'll show it in the Instagram feed. That's a very good example of, you know, mixing modern some of the modern painting aesthetics of like modern heavy metal with you know, the old grim bright, punchy, bold look. You know, he stands out really well. I think he's a great model.
Thank you. That's great. We solved it.
Did you enter him in OldenDemon last year?
I did, actually.
Okay, that's where I saw it.
I did, but I hadn't, like, it wasn't as refined as it is now.
Okay.
It was a bit like, go figure, it was a bit of a rush job. But yeah, knowing me by now. But yeah, I did enter it, and I entered it on a Goblin Green base because, you know, the criteria for entering, and I didn't really, I felt like it deserved something more, and I felt like it deserved a better, more, like, not complicated per se, but a more complex, but also cohesive, like, paint job. So that's where I'm going with it. So I'm planning on entering it this year again.
Okay.
But like new and
improved.
New and improved, yeah. 2.0.
Yeah, I remember that's. I think that's how I discovered you. Was you'd entered last year, and I thought your painting on that miniature was awesome. And I was like, I gotta find this guy.
It's cool.
So I'm still debating on entering this year or not. I don't know what my timeline looks like around that. I hate to use the word twice. Point in time. Hopefully I'll be into my Dark Angels phase by then. But I got for Christmas. My gal, she got me the old metal Typhus Nurgle guy, and I remember when he was released, and I've seen him through the years. I just thought he was one of Jess Goodwin's best sculpts. I mean, the thing is gorgeous, and I'm like, am I going to have time to spend like 3 weeks painting this dude up?
I mean, I think you should take your time. There's always next year as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to figure out my schedule right now. Like last year I got all messed up because we had two Las Vegas Opens. We had January and we had October. And it was mainly because they had to change venues, and the only available date for them to get a annual thing was in October at their new venue. So I'd participated in the January one with something I painted up for a competition the August prior. And in October, I wanted to enter as many categories as I could. So I had my Logan Grimnar that I painted for OldenDemon, and then I painted up a new Lamardes. And all of a sudden, I decided I want to do two squad entries because you can do 2 entries per category. So I ended up doing I had my Blood Angel Sneaky Beakies done, and I was like, I'm gonna do up some Space Wolf Terminators, and that was 3.5 weeks of hell, painting like 8 to 14 hours a day. It was worth it in the end because it took 3rd place. But this year I can actually plan. It's like we have nothing in January. I am going to Golden Demon. The projects I've done, I'm just bringing with. The Ultramarines thing just kind of happened on a whim, but it lined up perfectly with Golden Demon. And then going to LVO this October, I'll have pretty much everything done. I just need two single minis for the small mini category, and I think the Typhus is one of them. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the other one.
I thought you were going to say the Titan. I got a bit worried. No.
I'm not spending $200 on a Titan. At least not right now.
Maybe next year.
My pile of shame, unfortunately, well, my pile of opportunity / shame, it does not reside where I can see it. It resides in a moving box next to my desk with a cover on it. But it's getting kind of full, so I'm like, I need to paint stuff in that box. So I'm trying not to buy things, even though I just bought that. It was a Sisters of Battle single one-off model they did. It was based on a drawing. I found one on eBay, brand new last night for $35, so I bought it because I've been wanting to paint it. But it's just going to go in that box.
You could always get a bigger box.
Shh, stop. Most of the stuff I've been buying over the last, 6 to 7 months, the very little that I've been buying has been specifically for OldGrumpyWolf projects, YouTube videos, posting, stuff like that. It hasn't been like I've been buying it just because I want it. It's been like, no, there's got to be a purpose behind me buying stuff. And well, last night was just not so much on those plans. And no, I don't want a bigger box.
Okay, fine.
Because it means a bigger pile of opportunity. That was a really good comeback, by the way. Oh man. Just to round out what we're doing right now, to move on to the Instagram. What advice would you give painters just starting out for them to help avoid the same pitfalls you experienced? And no, don't say buy a bigger box.
No, don't buy a bigger box. No. You could always get one later. Don't worry.
Shush.
Some advice. Like, I mean, there's so much you could look up, like Instagram, YouTube, tutorials, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of great stuff. One of the biggest things, I'm like so tired of hearing and reading is this: you should have your paint to the consistency of milk.
Dude, that was a good one. Louise just did that. I was like, oh my God, I wish I had that description ages ago.
I mean, no. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. I don't get the advice. That's my point. I don't get it.
Oh, okay.
I don't get it. Like if you use like a wet palette or a dry palette or any kind of like how you store your paint or whatever, have you poured some milk in that? Have you tried?
No, because I drink soy milk because my stomach can't do normal milk anymore.
Let's just say they have like kind of the same consistency. Like,
okay.
Or, let's say
no, I get the comparison you're making.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I mean, one of the things you should get to, if you're in the hobby to paint, one of the things you should learn first should be like how your paint acts, like brush control and how your paint acts on the model, like how much water equals what kind of, like, are you making a wash? Are you doing like panel lining? Are you doing a glaze? So on and so forth. Are you layering? Like just getting to know how your paint behaves, like be it on your brush, be it when it comes to your model, just how it behaves. Don't worry about milk. just play around with the paint, add some water, just try it as it is.
Yeah.
Just paint, basically. Learning by doing.
Yeah, the consistency of milk thing, like I said, the first time I heard it was like Louise said it on Ask Me Anything, or a Q&A thing video she recently did, and I thought it was a good comparison, but now that you're like, have you ever poured milk on your palette? No, I haven't. Now you just throw a whole like wrench in the cog system.
I mean, I think there's something to it, maybe, but I mean, like the consistency of milk, like you're not gonna have like one consistency of paint.
Is it like fresh milk, or is it milk that's been sitting in the fridge for a month with the lid off?
Exactly. Does it have lumps in it?
Well, I don't know. If you're using whatever Citadel's white is called, it's got lumps in it too.
Yeah, maybe that's the whole thing.
Clorox white, I think it's called.
It's just a Citadel conspiracy, everything.
I've seen those bottles flipped open, and I'm like, ugh. It's like cottage cheese in there. What the hell?
Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, my tip, paint.
Yeah. Well, you brought up a good point that I try to tell people is, the behavior of the tools you're using that includes your paint. And one thing that just popped in my head, the consistency of the paint is going to be different from using two thin coats to Citadel to AK to Pro Acryl to Vallejo. They're in the pot. They're all different consistencies, and you have to learn how to break down that consistency on your palette to something that goes on the model smoothly and flows out of the brush smoothly. However, too, the pigmentation of it, the across all lines, the pigmentation is different.
Yeah.
I want to say Citadel is probably the worst of it because it seems like their pigmentation is just all over the frickin' board. But you get into AK, and we were talking earlier, AK's consistency of their pigmentation is just, and the mixing of the paint itself is just spot on through damn near all their colors.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I mean, if behavior is important.
It is. But I mean, if you're starting out, like, if you're gonna paint, don't worry about like, oh, I need this brand of paint or whatever. Like, just pick up a few bottles of paints, the one you have like available for you to buy. Try it out. If you like them, you can stick to them.
Yeah, figure out what works best for you.
Yeah, and as you said, like they're so different, like the way they behave. So just find one that works what you're trying to do.
Completely agreed. And with that said, let's switch over to your Instagram so we can finally show these folks what the hell we've been talking about. Let me pull up my interact window. There we go. So this is your white Terminator that we keep referring to.
Oh, that's actually not mine. The Terminator is Matthias.
Oh,
so we had
never mind.
We had this collaboration. So I painted the one next to him, the white guy.
Oh, the hang on.
To the left, the regular one.
This dude.
That one. So that one's mine.
Okay, yeah, they're so close that the painting style looks very, very similar. I think if you were trying to impersonate something else, like you hit the nail on the head with this.
Yeah, so we had this collab going that he just contacted me and asked me if I wanted to paint up this Star Phantom Marine, and I said, yeah, sure, let's go for it. So we'll be doing more of those very soon, I think.
Yeah, I think you're like with the whites on here, you're probably making a lot of people jealous right now.
I mean, here's a tip: if you're painting white, don't paint white.
Yep,
that's my tip. So like the base on this is actually it's AK. I think it's called reddish gray.
Oh, I was gonna say AK white gray.
Yeah, it's like a warmer, more red.
Oh,
gray.
okay.
But yeah, don't begin like base coating up with your Screaming Skull or whatever Citadel it's called. Don't. You're in for a bad time.
Don't. Ted has your address. He'll come find you.
Yeah, don't you dare. I'll be there.
Did you purposely paint his intake vent on his mask to look like teeth?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I actually saw some artwork. I'm not sure if it's like official or if it's fan made. It was like the official one, but I think it might have been edited. But I felt like it had like this kind of like almost like Rogue Trader feeling, like when Marines were just like super weird. They had like hate and death on their
kill, KIL,
arm.
kill.
Yeah, and like I think like the teeth grill would have fit perfectly with that kind of vibe.
I thought you got it from Space King.
Do they have teeth in Space King? I never thought about it. But yeah, I mean, let's just say that it's an homage to Space King.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
That guy Justin that I mentioned at the Warhammer store that goes down there, he 3D printed me a load of Space King models. He gave me all 5 of the guys. I'm like, yes.
That's cool.
He came up. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, but Hate Monger doesn't have the hate mace. I'm like, I don't care.
You need a hate mace though.
And then we were to go into what we were talking about earlier. That's your Ultramarine that you did for OldenDemon.
Yeah. So this is the new and improved, or I mean the work in progress for what I'll be submitting this year.
I definitely like that updated base. That's really nice looking.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. I mean, obviously it does more than a Goblin Green base, but I mean, I think I wanted to like have a bit of like storytelling or whatever. Like, where is he right now? What is he doing? Stuff like that.
It's funny. The first 3 comments that I see in there, those are all buddies of mine.
Oh, who is that? Mike?
Terrible work, some lengthiness, and Warheezy.
Yeah.
I actually had all 3 of them on my show last season.
Yeah. Good lads.
I like one thing I really dug that you did with him is the flourish detail on his helmet.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. I think so. The project, it began because I had this captain I've had him for ages and I didn't know how to paint him. So I went to Instagram as you do. And I scrolled through because I knew that Mr. Darren.
Oh,
Latham,
yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
I knew that he painted this guy. So this, like, everything on him right now is just ripped straight from his. I mean, I've painted him, like, in more of a modern style. So, like, the way, like, the reflections and whatever, he doesn't have that. He's painted more like the heavy metal one. So, but as far as the details, like the marks and the laurels on his helmet, that's his. I just copied it.
The funny thing was Darren actually posted this morning. He posted his monopose Marine that he painted up for his own competition. And,
the 90s Marine.
Yeah, and it's got the it just came to mind. It's got the same laurels on the helmet.
Yeah.
God, that man is too good for his own good.
I agree.
I consider Darren. I consider him like the modern day Mike McVeigh as far as like painting goes. And the neat thing is like he's like you. He's got that more modern style, but he also keeps to the old school kind of 90s Grimbright look too. And these are really cool. I like these. I really like the new Emperor's Children models, and you did a really good job with these. I like especially the gold, the weathering.
Thank you. It's one of those, like, because that happens. Like the funny thing about these guys is like I painted them up. I thought, okay, I'm done with them. 5 guys in my squad. Awesome, good job. Let's move on. And then, like, as I saw them in my cabinet, I was like, something's not right. What's going on? They're too pink. So I like yanked them out of my cabinet and I painted some of their armor pieces like purple. I gave them some belts because they need belts. Of course, they need leather. They're Emperor's children. They need some leather.
Well, funny. Hold on, before you go too far off the leather thing. So there's no cows and there's no cattle and stuff like that, and the grimdark future. So what is that leather made out of?
I mean, in this case, I think they might just be babies. Going by the Emperor's Children lore, I mean, might be.
I mean, hey, so if you watch Austin Powers, Fat Bastard says, baby, the other white meat.
Exactly.
Baby, it's what's for dinner.
So this is like one of my, again, like I do tend to like come back to projects I'm done with and add something to them because it makes me feel good.
It gives you the happy tingles.
Yeah, I mean, it does. And I mean, I feel like it's so frustrating because when I look at my older stuff, I feel like, oh my God, I've improved so much since I painted those. I should totally add like a detail here or maybe like some shading, some edge highlighting or whatever, some battle damage, stuff like that.
It's not a bad feeling to have.
So these guys are like the result of that.
Well, the neat thing is like, you keep your old models around, you can kind of see where you came from, and it gives you an ego boost of like, oh wow, I've actually improved.
Yeah. At the same time, I look at them and I shake my head in shame. So I don't see like the progress I've made. I don't see the progress. I just see like the faults I did.
Well, in one of my display cases next to me, I've got all 3 Ragnar Black mains that I've painted up through my life, and first one I did in 8th grade. The second one I did, I think, freshman year of high school, and the third one I did like junior year of high school. And I've got a 4th one in bare metal sitting in my storage case. I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to doing that one of these days and make an Instagram post of like, oh yeah, when Ted and I were talking about that on the show, keep your old models and see where you came from, and here's my first one, here's my second one, here's my third one, at the last post, here's my 4th one. Coincidentally enough, the Darren Latham glow up challenge that he did in fall of 24, I did that Layman Russ, and it was kind of funny to me that the people that saw the one I did when I was 15 years old that I think sloppier than hell, they're like, oh my God, even that one's really good. I'm like, oh, don't say that, please. That's just no.
Stop.
Just some things are wrong. This was neat. I really like the 3 models you did here because they're such uncommon chapters.
Yeah, they were fun. I'm planning on doing more of those, like the whole Badab war thing. So planning on adding to those. And again, like the vibrant colors goes really well with like my fixation of the battle damage.
They look so much better with Mark 7 helmets.
Yeah, I mean, they really do. They really do. I mean, I don't get it. Like, if Games Workshop just made them available to buy, like, in bulk, they would make so much money. I don't get it. Like, what's the point? Why are you keeping this from us?
Well, dude, it's like the chapter upgrade packs that you can get, right? I was talking to the guy who runs Warhammer about this. It drives me nuts. So you like the Blood Angels upgrade pack that I bought. I used a bunch of bits from that on Lamarda's. And I think that thing is like $35, and you get like one of like each little trophy or, dangly bit. And, you get some shoulder pads and a couple of heads, right? And then for the same amount of money, you go buy the box of skulls. And there's like a bazillion skulls in that box. That is probably the best thing they've ever brought out. But for comparison's sake, it's like, okay, you gave me 300 of one skull, but in this box, you gave me one dangly bit per sprue. There's something wrong here. And talking about heads like that, I think of for us Oldhammer geeks, not even Oldhammer and Middlehammer, there's so many of us. Now that we have adult money, bringing out a box of, like 50 Mark 7 and Mark 6 helmets would just be ideal, because Primaris Marines look so much better with those old helmets, and I can't stand the new helmets. They look like riot gear. It's like, this isn't a Space Marine helmet.
But I mean, I do think they're heading that way. Like going
I think they
back
have
to the
to.
more. But I mean, there's like hints to it. Like the new Space Wolf kits they released have more like the old marks, like the helmets and even the armor. So I do hope they're heading down the route of like more old stuff, but just Primaris scaled or whatever.
I think they kind of have to, because like I just said, you've got guys like us we have adult money now, and we remember the better days of Space Marines, and you bring in a box of 30 or 40 helmets that are Mark 6 and Mark 7. There's going to be at least 200,000 people out there that buy it easily.
Yeah.
And you brought up a good point about the Space Wolves. I like that, since the introduction of Primaris, they're doing the same thing that they did in 2nd edition and even 3rd edition, starting to mess around with the variants of the Primaris armor. And one thing I really liked what they did with the Space Wolves is they got rid of that stupid flare above the knee pad on a bunch of the models.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate that detail. And they also did like the Mark 6 style leg plates, where instead of having a separate knee pad, it's just one giant leg plate of armor.
Yeah. One like design choice that still bothers me though is like on the ankles of them, they have this like huge ball, like this ball, like joint kind of thing. I don't get it at all, because I looked at some of like the older Marines I have, like some 2nd edition stuff. It's just like it's not there. I don't.
So Primaris armor, and I will argue anyone to death with this. Primaris armor is just Mark 8 errant armor, just the modern version of it. All the details and all like the design style came from Mark 8 errant armor. And there were in 2nd edition, like early 2nd edition, a lot of like the the box sets you got, like the Dark Angels and the Blood Angels. The Dark Angels tactical squad, the sergeant of that squad was wearing Mark 8 armor. And there's another one, I forgot what the hell it was. He came in a box set. It wasn't Blood Angels. It wasn't Ultramarines. It was, I think it might have been Space. Yeah, it was the Space Wolves Grey Hunter squad. The sergeant's wearing Mark 8 armor as well. And I think what happened with Mark 8 was, like at the time when 2nd edition came out, Mark 7 was the new armor. And you still had Mark 6, which was very popular. So it was primarily Mark 6 and Mark 7. And then Jess sculpted up Mark 8 armor. And I think it was just too much. They never really did anything with it. There was 2 models that were actually available to buy. There was a bunch of prototypes cast of, I think, 2 or 3 other armor styles. And I wish I bought them off eBay when I saw them. But I think the Mark 8 errant armor just faded away into obscurity because 6 and 7 were so prevalent. And then when Games Workshop was like, okay, we need to like change the Space Marines, we need to evolve them a little bit, they went back to the Mark 8 errant armor and then just, fully expanded that aesthetic to the Primaris we have now. And to close out the Instagram thing, is there a model in here that is one of your favorites that you've painted up? Ooh,
it's difficult. I mean, I do feel like maybe one I did way back.
And why is it the Space Wolf right in the middle?
I mean, that might be one of them. You could let's just pick it since we're here.
I really liked. I meant to pull this up. I was looking through this. I really like the Space Wolf. This is really nice. That's metal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's metal. Okay. It's from what could it be like?
That's like late 2000s.
Yeah, it must have been. It's some kind of game stay exclusive or whatnot. And I just
2003.
think it's so early. Yeah, goodness. But yeah, I just think it's like super unique. Like it looks like especially nowadays, it looks like nothing released.
Yeah,
nowadays it's so unique, and it feels like it should be almost too cluttered in a way, but I feel like it works in some weird way. Because I mean, it's so like the details are so good. They're so crisp and they distinct. So yeah, I just really like it, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, you did an excellent job on this. I really like the blue gray that you chose for the armor, and I like the little hints of like, I don't know if it's supposed to be dirt or rust in there, but the weathering looks really cool.
A bit of both, I think. But yeah, and that's also something I really need to get into my way of painting, because I have no idea how I painted this guy. Like I have no idea what kind of paints I used. Like I like, as you said, I really like the color of his armor, and I think I mixed that. I'm pretty sure it's not like from a bottle, just straight off the shelf. I think I mixed it. And I haven't got the slightest clue of how I did it. So and it's so frustrating, because I even like bought like a little booklet that I was supposed to write down my recipes. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't written a single word in it so far.
One thing that popped into my head that might help you is come up with whatever your favorite chapters are that you want to do. Come up with a paint scheme for them that you can actually remember, like what colors you use for the armor, and then just stick with it, and then expand on your skill with that chosen set of colors for the armor. Like you can figure out your own blending and all that stuff the way you want to use it. But the thing I found with doing my tutorials for the different chapters, especially Space Wolves, because I was so all over the place when I was younger with them. It helps keep me stuck in keeping the consistency correct, but also like, okay, I'm used to like, I know these 4 colors now, and I need to like get into making them work better with each other, like getting just more detailed with the blending, more layers, stuff like that. And it gets so ingrained in your head that if you sit down a couple years later and hypothetically paint up a Space Wolf, you know exactly what colors to pull for the armor. And you're not like, I forgot to write it down.
Yeah, might just do that.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Darren Latham does it all the time. There's nothing wrong with like, okay, I want to try a different set of like blue grays for this particular wolf. But if you really like how it comes out, write it down.
Yeah, I really should.
So to end the show, is there anybody you'd like to give shout outs to?
I mean, since we mentioned them, maybe like Mike, Mr. Mike.
Terrible work.
Shout outs to Mike, good guy. Maybe my collaborator, Matthias, Paintbush on Instagram. Shout out. And basically every single person I talk to on Instagram. Shout out to you guys.
I'm not listing all of them.
No, I'm not gonna list them because I'm horrible with names. So yeah, those guys.
And
who you are.
With all the shout outs done, the mystery question that I came up with, because my last guest forgot to get me a mystery question, was, what was your favorite pair of shoes you've ever owned?
Oh my goodness.
We've always had one.
I mean, I think it must be like when I was like maybe 16 or something. I remember my dad, he brought home a pair of Converse sneakers from the US. And that was like kind of a big 16-year-old Swedish guy. It was kind of cool. And I think I wore those shoes till they weren't shoes anymore. They were just a bit of string. And they fell apart.
My gal, that's all she wears is Converse. She just wears black and white Chuck Taylors. And she does the same thing as you. She'll have a pair for like a year or two, and she just wears them until they're like disintegrating.
And I do remember they being like lime green or something like really wacky like that. So pretty distinct.
Yeah, I wore a pair of those once. I was trying to put together an outfit, and I was going to buy a pair, and I put them on. I was like, these look silly. My feet are too big.
It'll have to be those.
Yeah, I wear DCs now. Like I've been wearing the same DCs for like the last 16 years. Not the same pair, just the same style.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think a modern day pair of shoes wearing them on a regular basis would last more than 5 years, given how poorly they're made.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I will wrap the show up and shut it down. Thank you, Ted, for coming on. Stick around. I'll talk to you for a little bit after the show's done. Yeah. But I'm going to switch over to my ending screen. Here's a couple of videos. And yes, my Ultramarines tutorial will be done by the time this comes out. I think actually it'll be out in May. So until then, I'll talk to you guys in a bit.